Lord and Chris Miller are one of my favorite Hollywood duos because they keep being right about pretty much everything and they keep getting fired. So if you don't know who they are, they're behind some of your favorite movies: Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the Spider-Verse franchise, Project Hail Mary, 21 Jump Street, and several more. And they are an inseparable duo who met while they're going to college at Dartmouth. And while they were there was an article run on Miller that Mike Eisner, the CEO of Disney at the time, saw of all people. Eisner instructed Disney to approach Miller, and they did, but he was like, "You're not going to take me without my best friend, Phil Lord." And so they both ended up going to meet with Mike Eisner and Disney and got hired to work at Disney TV. But while they were there, absolutely nothing went their way, and they got not a single project they pitched picked up. Eventually, they got their TV show Clone High picked up by MTV, and it came out with one single season, and it was met with critical acclaim. But then there was a hunger strike in India over the show's portrayal of Gandhi, and it got canceled. But all right, they keep trucking. They finally get an offer for their very first feature film to write the script for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. They work on that for a year, and then they get fired. And they bring in a whole nother staff, and they have them try to write a script for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and then that staff gets fired, and instead they rehire Lord and Miller. But then they were almost fired again because the head of Sony Animation at the time did not like their take on the story and thought it didn't have enough emotional gravitas. But Lord and Miller quickly came up with a way to appease the head of Sony Animation, and they added the character of Flynn's dad, who was originally going to be just a small tackle shop owner, with next to no plot relevance. But they went ahead and upgraded him to the father figure, and he was beloved, and the movie got greenlit, and they were asked to direct it, and everything ended very well, with the movie getting critical acclaim and being very popular. Next, they directed the R-rated comedy 21 Jump Street. At the time, nobody really thought that was going to succeed either because the original TV show that it's based off is much more serious, but they directed it, once again met with critical acclaim and very beloved. While they were working on 21 Jump Street, they pitched the idea of a Lego movie. The head of Lego, he was very, very skeptical that they even needed a movie, thinking it was kind of silly, but he liked the concept so much he decided to go ahead and approve it. So they went ahead with the movie, and people in the audience were very, very skeptical about this movie. Just the initial reaction was confusion. But once again, the movie came out, very critically acclaimed, everybody loved it. Next, they were asked to write a script for the superhero movie The Flash, but they turned that down because they got an offer from Disney to direct and write the story for the Han Solo movie. But remember how I said they kept getting fired? Yeah, they got fired off of Han Solo. They had actually directed already 70% of the movie, and they said they got along with everybody in the cast, but Disney, once again, did not trust their vision for the movie, fired them, and replaced them. The movie ended up getting very mediocre critical reception and did pretty horrible at the box office, but who knows if that would have happened if they had gone with their original vision. But despite this setback, you can't keep them down, and they were approached by Sony to do a version of Spider-Man that was fully animated. They agreed on the condition that it would be Miles Morales as the main protagonist and based on the Spider-Verse franchise. And obviously, though, that movie was extremely beloved. In fact, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I consider it the best Spider-Man movie of all time. After that, they then produced the movie The Mitchells vs. the Machines for Netflix, and then they produced and showrun a TV series called The After Party for Apple TV, which is the only one on this list that I haven't seen, and I'm going to go watch that after this. Both of those got extreme critical acclaim, once again, because, like I said, everything these people touch pretty much turns to gold. Next came Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which they wrote and produced, not directed, and it was once again extremely critically beloved, and it was extremely popular, making a ton of money. It was part of a planned trilogy that they had already written out and produced as well, but the third one still hasn't come out. But despite the fact that the third Spider-Verse movie still hasn't come out, they went ahead and accepted director's roles for Project Hail Mary, which once again, ton of money, critical acclaim. But what makes Project Hail Mary even funnier to me, at least, is the fact that in 2017, they were supposed to direct a movie from that exact same writer called Artemis, which they've just consistently lost funding on and hasn't been able to get off the ground due to multiple different reasons. But they have expressed interest in trying to get that taken care of after they finish the Spider-Verse films, which I'm beginning to doubt will ever happen. But despite both of those projects being unfinished, they are producing a film adaptation of Murder, She Wrote, as well as working on a sequel for The Mitchells vs. the Machines and being producers on the new Spider Noir series. As for why they say they keep getting fired and keep getting taken off projects, they say it's because they always look at every project as a way to express themselves on a personal level, which they think is something a lot of filmmakers don't do nowadays. Always thinking that despite this being preset franchises like Lego and Spider-Man, how can they make it personal and how can they make it unique? And I think that is what has set them apart as filmmakers in Hollywood throughout the years, and I am very excited to continue seeing all of their new projects, whether they're writing, producing, or directing.